All right. Well, good afternoon, and welcome to this edition of ScanSource and Mitel Talk Tech. My name is Eric Jeffery. I'm the Senior Mitel Design Engineer at ScanSource. I've been supporting our partner community for 7 years on the pre-sale side with designs and solutions. With me today, I have Aaron Hastings and Eric Knudson. Welcome, gentlemen, and please introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you do for Mitel.
Great. Hello, Eric. My name is Aaron Hastings. I am a consulting solutions architect in Mitel's Advanced Tech Ops group. My role is I primarily support other Mitel SEs as well as our partner community in basically introducing and training and showing people on our new applications.
And Eric, I'm Eric Knudson. I'm a pre-sales engineer at Mitel. I've been with Mitel for 11 years now and working on the pre-sales side with the consultants and the partner community, and also customers too.
Well, very nice to meet you, gentlemen. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me as we discuss how Mitel can work with Microsoft Teams. And to kick this off, I just want to know, how does Mitel bring value to customers who are using Teams today?
Well, that's a great question. And Mitel actually has multiple approaches on this, depending on kind of what the existing customer installation looks like today. So for customers that do not have the Microsoft Teams phone license, so that would be people that, for example, are in like the E3 or A3 category, we have the ability to leverage the Mitel PBX for all of the actual voice portion of this. So you would have the Mitel PBX, you would have the MyCollab client, and we have a plugin called Mitel Assistant that plugs into Teams, and it allows you to work within Teams, but when it comes time to place a voice call, you're actually controlling your Mitel phone from within the Teams user interface. So that's one method of doing this. We also then, for customers who have a phone license, so that would mean either they purchased it a la carte or it came as part of, for example, like an E5 license, that opens up another option to them known as direct routing. And that's the ability to actually connect your Teams instance to your Mitel PBX through a Mitel session border controller, in our case called the Mitel OpenScape SBC. And what that lets you do is that lets you create voice paths between your Teams users and your Mitel phone system. And it basically allows those Teams users to place calls directly to Mitel users. It also allows them to leverage the trunks that are already on the Mitel platform. So in this case, you don't have to be necessarily using Microsoft's calling plans. You're able to go ahead and leverage the trunks that are connected directly to the PBX.
Okay. So when we're talking about, integrating Microsoft Teams with the Mitel PBX, do I still have to buy a Microsoft calling plan?
So no, you don't. Actually, both of these solutions here eliminate the need to have a Microsoft calling plan on that. In the first case of using Mitel Assistant, remember, you're not actually placing calls through Teams. You're using Teams to kind of remote control your Mitel endpoint. So in that case, the trunks are already connected into your Mitel platform. In the case of direct routing, again, we're bringing trunks in directly to the PBX or directly into the SBC. And what that means is that you don't have to pay a calling plan. So if you take a look here on the slide, you can see Microsoft does offer different tiers of calling plans for their different users, but those calling plans are required in order for you to place an external phone call. So without a calling plan with Teams, you're limited to just Teams user to Teams user calling. Once you add, if you want to place calls to outside phone numbers, now you have to have a calling plan. In the case of the Mitel solution, if you have either Mitel Assistant or direct routing, you don't need a Microsoft calling plan. You're able to leverage the trunks that are connected directly to your system.
Oh, very good. So does Mitel Teams solution work with all of the Mitel deployments? I mean, we have customers that are traditional premise-based, we have people moving to cloud, and we have those that have the hybrid deployments. Do we work across all solutions, or are we kind of pigeonholed?
Yeah, that's one of the strengths of the Mitel solution is it does work across all of the deployment models. Whether you virtualized it locally or virtualize it in the cloud, you can actually run it anywhere. And what's the beauty of that is you can actually move it too. So as your business changes, say you guys are on-prem today and you decide to move to a cloud 5 years from now, you can actually just take it and move it. So that's one of the nice solutions about Mitel is we do give you that flexibility.
Oh, very, very cool. So, what are some of the features of the Mitel Assistant plugin? I know you kind of led with that, and I honestly, it sounds like a great feature for those people who don't have, the level 5 licensing from Microsoft.
Yeah, I'll walk you through a bunch of the different features we have with that today. So one of the beauties is this actually can be downloaded from Microsoft. You go out to the store and you look up for the Mitel Assistant. So the Mitel Assistant uses two components to it: the actual Microsoft piece, and there's a Mitel piece, and it's what we call our telephony-only client, and that resides on the taskbar hidden. And those two work in conjunction with each other. So it'll pop up the Mitel piece in that. So what's nice about that is that you can still stay in Teams as you need to, but you can also move outside of Teams and still have it working. So one of the nice things there is I actually have my telephony-only client over here on the right, which will actually pop up and gives me the full keyboard. I can transfer, conference, things like that. And those two are basically two separate tools to use. One of the nice things that does gives me a lot of that flexibility that Mitel has is I can actually use different ways to answer the call. Like this situation comes in, the call comes in. I can actually decide whether to answer that call via my desk phone or my soft phone. It'll actually pop up. Now, what's nice about this is I don't have to be in Teams to get this to work. I can be in Excel spreadsheet, I can be in Outlook, and it's still going to pop up and it'll float over everything that you're doing. But it still has that deep integration into Teams there. So you can actually see that. Now I can actually take this and select it and go with it. Now, it does give you kind of that smaller view, and I also have a large view too. So small view gives you the ability to mute, drop the call, expand the call, things like that. But if you want to be able to do additional things, it gives you that full feature functionality there. I can actually now say mute, transfer, hold, conference, and handoff. That handoff feature has been with Mitel for years, and that's something that I use on a daily basis. What that allows me to do is take that call and hand it off to a different device. So maybe I'm on my soft phone talking with my Teams partner and I have to get to an appointment. I can actually seamlessly hand that call from my soft phone over to my mobile device and walk out the door, and it's seamless all the way. You won't even hear the difference there. And the other way too, maybe I'm coming in from an appointment, I answer that call and I want to sit down with my laptop and start working away. I can actually seamlessly hand that back again. So that's one of the nice features that we have there. It can do both. A couple other things it does too is once you're in Teams, if I want to be able to make a call, I can be in a chat session, and I can actually highlight somebody and start a chat from within a call within that chat session even too. So I don't have to be strictly in the Mitel components. I can actually be a hybrid. I can be in the Teams piece and still do those components and be in the Mitel piece. So it really gives you that flexibility a lot of people ask for and want there.
Oh, really cool. And let me ask you about presence. I know in today's world, sometimes we have solutions where presence doesn't always show up in Teams. I've had this in my own personal work experience where I'm on a phone call and the phone client I'm using isn't telling Teams that I'm on the call. So is the presence truly unified between both systems when I integrate Mitel with Teams?
Yes, with our TeleLink technology, what we've done with that is basically mirror those two systems together. So now you can. So if you are on a soft phone call or I'm on a MyTlab call, I can actually see that. Or if I'm in a video conference with Teams, that's one of the biggest asks that we've seen out there in the past was, hey, I'm in a Teams meeting and people keep calling me. Well, I can actually change my presence that way. So I can actually have Teams drive my presence and things like that. And I can see those within the system itself too. So we can do that.
Oh, that's awesome. So, you mentioned kind of the push-pull technology of being able to move a call to your cell phone. So I'm assuming that Mitel will work with the Teams mobile client as well, right? In the opposite direction. Is that the case?
It does. So whether you're using direct routing or the Mitel Assistant, with the Mitel Assistant, what we do is we actually pair it up with the MyTlab client for the mobile device. And so if you do have to make that call, you still don't need the Teams dialing plan. I can actually dial it up on my Teams and it kicks off the MyTlab, and actually the MyTlab is what's making the call. Whereas if you're direct routing, you can just make that call directly from your Teams device. So we do have the flexibility to go either way depending upon your Microsoft licensing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, now to the important part, because everybody's going to need to know, how do we make this work? So what kind of licensing do I need on the Mitel side of things in order to integrate Teams with my existing solution?
Great question. So the answer is it really depends on which route you're going to go. So if you're going to go the Mitel Assistant route, so if you don't have the Teams phone, you have like an E3 license level, then all you really have to have is MyCollab. So you have to have, if you want to do the desktop integration, you have to have the MyCollab desktop client. And of course, if you want to do mobile, you would need the MyCollab mobile client. But as far as how you get those can be acquired in any number of ways. They are included for CapEx, they're included in the UCC entry and above. And for the subscription edition 2, they are in the entry user seat and above. Those all include access to the full desktop MyCollab client, which is the only requirement for Mitel Assistant. The Mitel Assistant itself plugin is available from the Microsoft Teams store for free. So you just go to the Teams store within your Teams client and you search for Mitel and you install the plugin right there. It is possible that your administrator will have to give access rights to that, so do be aware of that. That does have to be authorized by your admin. But once you do that, there's no charges or anything like that. It's just installed quickly as a plugin, and then you associate that link using your CloudLink login. So the same login that you use for your MyCollab client, for example, you would use to log in the Mitel Assistant from within Teams to keep everything tied together. So that's Mitel Assistant. So from a licensing perspective, all you need is MyCollab. From direct routing's perspective, that's a little different. So for that, you need to have a Microsoft certified session border controller, which the Mitel OpenScape SBC is an authorized border controller for that. So you have to have the SBC itself, and then you have to have the direct routing license, and then you have to have your session licenses. And the way session licenses work is you license each side of the call. So the session border controller will have, for every concurrent call, we'll have a connection to Teams and a connection to the MyVoice Business, which means that's 2 concurrent sessions per call. So if you want to have 50 concurrent phone calls going between your Mitel infrastructure and your Teams infrastructure, you would need to have 100 session licenses on that. But the other thing to keep in mind is that these 2 solutions are not mutually exclusive. We have had mixed use environments work very successfully in the past, so that you have some set of users who are Teams only users, for example, and they use direct routing. So if they need to place an outside phone call, they're able to leverage the trunks on the PBX, but they basically function exclusively in Teams. And then we've had for example, you would have other employees. Contact center is a perfect example of this, where people want to leverage the Mitel contact center. So those users are going to be on a Mitel phone, but of course they use Teams for things like chat and collaboration. And so they want to be able to still live and work in Teams, but control and take calls from their Mitel phone. The Mitel Assistant works perfectly. And since both of those applications, because we support that true bidirectional synchronization, it doesn't matter what type of call I'm on or what type of user I am, it's going to properly show my presence status to any other member in my organization. They can see what status I'm on. It doesn't matter which solution I'm using. So I think we really do provide a very flexible offering to kind of cover any type of use case for Teams to Mitel integration.
Well, fantastic, gentlemen. I want to thank you for the information today, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join me on this call. I want to tell anybody who's out there listening, feel free, if you have any questions, you can contact, obviously, your regional Mitel engineer, or you can email presalestech@scansource.com. We'd be happy to help you out any way we can. And again, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time. This was very informative.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Our pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks.